Welcome to Catching Up with Nina, our podcast series where we discuss issues relative and pertinent to Michigan principals. This is Nina Davis, your Associate Director of Member Services and Engagement at Michigan Association of Secondary School Principals. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's chat. All right, so welcome back to another podcast. This is Nina Davis, Associate Director of Member Services and Engagement. I am here today with two clerical staff from L'Anse Creuse Middle School East. So I have the privilege of interviewing today Ms. Sharon Malaga and Ms. Monica Lowe, who are actually former staff members of mine in the building that I worked in before this present role. So welcome, ladies, to the podcast.
Hello, Mrs. Davis.
Hello.
So first, if I can get you to introduce yourselves, just share your name, your current position, and how long you've worked in that role.
My name is Sharon Malaga, and I am the secretary to the principal here at Middle School East. And I've been in this position for 4.5 years.
Okay. And
my name is Monica Lowe, and I'm the counseling clerk, kind of attendance clerk as well. I've been in this role for 4 years.
All right. And so can you ladies just talk about your background prior to these roles that you're currently in?
My background's a little more jagged than the normal. I do this role because it works for my family and my kids. I have my undergrad and graduate degrees. I've taught college education at Eastern Michigan University, and I do this now. And I've lived overseas. I've lived in the other parts of Michigan and in Missouri. So I work this job because it works for my family. And so I bring a few bags to my role.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not as exciting as you are, but before I had my children, I worked as a building supply yard manager. And once I had my kids, I was home with them for 10 years. And then once they were in school, I started working for L'Anse Creuse. I started off as a noon aide, and then I was sub parapro and sub clerical. I landed a position in 2009 with the district, started in the clerk level and worked my way up to principal secretary.
So you can see how exciting it was to work with these ladies with their vast backgrounds and experience. Can you ladies talk about just the type of duties that you perform in your current roles?
My job, I'm the first person that someone sees when they walk in the building. So I greet parents and students and verify identities and all that kind of stuff. I also clear the attendance line. And clear attendance period, whether they come to school or not. And I coordinate who goes and sees our counselors. And also I take care of the clinic and medications and if anybody's hurt or injured. So it's like the position that kind of keeps some aspects of the building running for outside influence and parents and things like that.
And I am the person that everyone comes to. I do all the financing for the building. I do anything that the teachers need. I help any other duties that need to be done throughout the day for principal, associate principal. I do any kind of ordering.
All right. So for the listeners listening, and if you have not heard that clerical staff is the soul, heart and soul of the building, you need to understand that because you can see from just a few of the duties, and these ladies are not sharing everything that they do, but just from the duties that they've listed, you can see very well how it is crucial and critical for a building to have a strong clerical staff like these ladies that we're chatting with here today. So ladies, can you talk a little bit just about how your duties have changed in recent years due to COVID-19, amongst other factors, the pandemic and other things that have made your duties just change and modify a bit?
I'll speak to that one first. COVID-19 changed all aspects of my role. I felt like besides just doing general attendance, that's all I did. and I did it because I like the organization that goes around with it, and start and end. But I also felt that it made more sense in conversation with the other people in our building for me to do it versus having it spread across 4 or 5 people, especially our administrators. So I took on probably more than I should have, but I felt it did help our building to have one coordinated place where it went to. And so some aspects of my job kind of got pushed to the side because COVID ran rapid for a while. And I think other parts that have changed also with my job is I feel like a lot more PR has been needed because parents have been confused or they've been frustrated. And so we've had a lot more people calling, asking for details of what is, trying to understand what the health department or the state's doing and how our district's responding to it. So I feel like I had to do a lot more PR than I have in past buildings to try and keep people calm and happy. So those are the 2 biggest ways my job has changed the last 2 years.
And Monica, that role that you took on as PR director, I'm sure was quite difficult as that target continued to change.
It has changed a lot. And even just today, I had to try and calm a parent over a dispute as to how our county is dealing with the guidelines versus how the state is or the district, and their students' return to school date. And so, you do as you can and you try to calm the parents, but then at some point you're like, by all means, call upper administration or call the health department. And that's where I was at today. So, I mean, we try to calm them, but sometimes you can't.
Absolutely. Sharon, how has your job changed?
To be honest with you, other than reporting of anything happening with staff and COVID cases and helping out with bringing students down to the office because they have to be sent home. Honestly, Monica's done most of the COVID things in this building. So I can honestly say I'm going to give all the credit to Monica for this one.
So even outside of just the COVID reporting task, do you feel like your job has changed? Mask mandates, the apprehension of teachers in the building, the stress level. Do you see any of those impacting your job on the day-to-day?
Well, for me, I do, because it just seems really different because this Omicron pandemic that's going on right now, it seems like teachers are more afraid. So it seems like we are handing out more masks to teachers, where when the COVID first started, we were handing more masks out to students. So as far as that concerned, I guess the flow of people coming into the office for different things is changing throughout this whole pandemic.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I think you can see where the teachers are stressed as a whole because they're confused sometimes about the ever continuing change and guidance and looking for clarification, and they're still trying to provide education to the kids that are missing time because of exposure or being positive, and they still have a task they have to do, and you can see on them the frustration, just like everyone else in the building. So they're confused and frustrated, and truly doing an amazing job in navigating it all.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with you, Monica. As a former building administrator, that was frustrating to me because I felt like I had very little power to impact, those decisions and some of the frustration that teachers experience. So I definitely know that was probably difficult on your end as well, seeing that frustration and not really having an end in mind or some way to solve those issues. So we're going to shift to something positive. Can you ladies share with me the things that you enjoy most about your positions?
I enjoy the students and I enjoy some of the staff and most of the staff.
It's fair. That's very fair.
It's the students. It's not, I mean, there's some students that just, you can't help but want to love and hug and help them have a better day. So that remains why I work is the students.
Same with me. The reason I work for the district is because of the students. People ask why I don't go to my admin, because I want to stay with the students. And to be honest with you, I think we have a wonderful staff. I think they work really good together. They mesh together. And there are a few that don't want to mesh the same time or the same way. But I think as a staff, I think we all work good together. And I want to go back even to the COVID with the way that the staff was with the COVID, we really did not have a whole lot of staff members out with it, because I think that we all work together in trying to be on the same page with that, all of that. A lot of people, most people wore masks and even at the beginning, they, protected themselves. And I think it helped a lot as a building. So I think as a building, we're really strong.
Okay, so I know that there are many challenges right now with everything that's going on, but can you name one challenge that you currently experience in your role?
Nina, I'm gonna throw it out there because this is going to a podcast that everybody is involved in education. I think the biggest challenge is coming to work every day in a job where you're frustrated and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel some days. I mean, it sounds bad to say it like that, but that is the biggest challenge, is keeping people engaged and wanting to come to work, because there's frustration everywhere.
Absolutely. Sharon?
I love what I do. I love my role. Unfortunately, I am between principal and an associate principal, so it is kind of hard. The office is really busy right now, different roles going on. But to be honest with you, I honestly love my role as everything that I do for the principal of the building.
Okay, so we're going to end with two questions, and you ladies have the privilege of being the very first to answer my two signature podcast questions. So first, if you had the ear of every person in the world, what one thing would you want them to know about the specific work that you do and or the work of school staff in general?
Well, the schools, we're working with our future. So, I mean, I want everybody to know that what we invest into our children and students right now we'll reap the benefits of it in the future. And so to me, the sky's the limit, man. We invest in them in every aspect, and we will see what we have done. It's the kids.
Agreed.
To be honest with you, in our role, I don't think that we're seen for as much as we do. I know that Monica's the first one, and I've been in her position. It's the first person that people see when you walk in the door, but it just seems like a lot is all about the teachers, and I don't believe that the clerical staff is always recognized as the heart of the school. I just think that we're overlooked a lot for everything that we do.
No, I agree. And I appreciate you both of you bringing that up, because that's kind of the goal of this podcast and our clerical series, is getting the word out about the work that you do. You ladies do so much. And that's kind of why, I mentioned at the beginning, you're even humble yourselves and not mentioning everything that you do, because there's so much. I don't know that you truly could put that on paper. The responsibilities, the duties that you perform day in and day out. And I think it's really important for the public to know, the work that you do. So my last question, if you had the power to make one dream in education come true, no matter how massive or small, what would that dream be?
My dream would be that everyone gets a sound quality education that helps them to fulfill their own dreams and allows them to have a future that meets the needs of not only themselves, but of everybody else. So I'd hope that everybody gets a solid education.
My dreams would be that the students would get the same support at home as they get from a lot of the teachers and support or staff that is in the building. A lot of the kids don't get the same support at home.
It's true.
And I think that's really important also to mention and to get out there, because you see the support that students receive in the building. A lot of times our public, our parents, our other stakeholders outside of the building don't necessarily see that. But I think you ladies firsthand, see that love, support, and nurturing that, all of our staff, not just our teachers, that our school staff and our building give to students. And so sometimes it's frustrating to know that we're not receiving that same support, or that students are not receiving that same support outside. So definitely, I think a lot of people can agree with that statement.
That's a very good point.
So that is the end of my conversation with these two. I just want to thank you very sincerely. It's been great to reconnect with you. And I'm very proud that you will be my first two clerical interview, because it was such a delight to work with you two. So I wish you the best of luck in the rest of this school year. And again, I just thank you sincerely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nina. Best wishes to you always.
Thank you.